Hello gentle viewers, this is Abindi and welcoming you to a special post-mortem video for Stellaris. Those of you who've been following the series know that in the last episode of the previous episode, we got unbidden. I'm going to make that a verb now. We got unbidden. They showed up right in our territory and basically murdered us ruthlessly. Which is really, really bad news. Fortunately, one of the fallen empires woke up. Not that one. Where's the one that woke up? I think it is these guys. I can't remember now. Was it? Yeah, it was these guys. Is the Izirian directors. They did declare war on the Unbidden, but I don't think it's going to come to help us. So I ended the series. So why are we here today? We're here to talk about what went wrong and what went right. So that when I play Stellaris again, and I assuredly will, we can maybe come at things from a new perspective. One thing was absolutely out of my control. I had no idea that they would spawn in my space. Not that it would have helped much, but if they had spawned, say, and gotten caught up here, maybe fought the Commonwealth of Ganogia, maybe there's something to it. But unfortunately, that never happened. So there's not much we can do about that. Unless it's based on the fact that we had jump drives first. I don't know how that affects where the Unbidden spawn. Maybe something to consider about. In the upcoming Atoms patch, the frequency of the Unbidden is supposed to be turned down a bit. So we'll see what happens if we play again. So, that was the one thing that was out of my control. The second thing that was out of my control, or I should say, when I decided to start the series and roleplay it, the moment I confined us to a certain corner of the galaxy, I probably was dooming us to being destroyed at some point. I thought that the tech differences would help us overcome numbers, and we could have beaten anything other than a fallen empire, in my opinion. So in that case, I think we were successful. But we just weren't far enough ahead of the game, I think, to maintain the success for very much longer, which is the other reason I decided to end the series when I did. I recognize there's still an infinitesimal chance we could survive. I'm not willing to put much bet on that, though, and I think our time is better spent on either different series or a new game later on. So, as far as changes to things I would do, I don't know that I'd play Fanatical Purifier again unless maybe we combine it with Hive Mind. I'm interested in maybe trying that in a future series, not the next one. I don't want a series too much like this one, but that's a possibility. But depriving yourself of diplomacy is just so dangerous because everyone else in the galaxy gangs up on you. I'm super glad Stellaris doesn't have offensive alliances, or we would have been screwed. We even still had that problem from time to time, but thankfully no Federation decided, let's declare war on Krikkit, because we would have been overwhelmed by sheer numbers. I don't know that I like missiles very much, in retrospect. They're just so slow, so there's always that awkward beginning of every battle where the missiles just kind of hang there for a moment, and you're getting hit the whole time the missiles are moving onto the target. Once they connect, they do loads of damage. But that delay makes them an inefficient weapon, in my opinion. They worked for us because our missiles were so much better than everyone else's. And the curious fact that people just didn't have very good shields for most of the game until we reached the Unbidden. So, that's another thing. I don't think I would play with just missiles again. Maybe missiles in combination with another weapon. Like maybe lasers. Or the mass drivers, but not the missiles alone. Not the missiles alone. So, I think I would probably... I love the robot idea, and I actually really enjoyed that. If I had known how long we would have had uprisings, I wouldn't have... I don't know that I would have gone for synthetic technology as quickly as I did. I mean, that shut down Bacata for a good several years, and I think that was a mistake on my part. And if I'd understood the consequences as I do now, I don't think I'd go that route quite so quickly, especially when we had so many robots in the Empire already. What else? I mean, again, I think we were sort of doomed with the whole we can only expand to a new colony once the previous one is full. If I was expanding in any kind of logical rate, I would have been much larger, and I probably would have been bigger than the Gargaxton Collective, and that would have opened up some options for us. So if we do go hive mind later on, we're going to go expand everything as soon as it becomes possible, rather than waiting to the last possible minute. What else? I think maybe abandoning Corvettes was a mistake. It made sense to me to rely on fighter wings to serve that role, but I think we should have been building Corvettes and just accept the fact we were going to lose them. Either that or maybe just give them the torpedoes and make them proper torpedo boats. I never got a chance to really introduce that into the fleet, and I think it could have made a big difference. Because putting all your eggs in one basket or all your weapons on one battleship means it's much easier. If you lose one battleship, you're in a whole lot of trouble. Whereas if I lose 100 Corvettes, a few years later, I've got 100 Corvettes again. So I wouldn't have done that. What I think worked really well, though, I noticed, and I love that they've done this, and I love that PDS did this for Stellaris, a smaller empire was playable. Really playable, and I had a really good time playing it, too. Which I did not expect to be possible. In the earlier editions, before Utopia, I kind of felt forced to expand, whether I wanted to or not. I loved having the option to expand or not expand as things developed. That was really good, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And I love that it's possible to be out-teching people much larger than you. If we look at the Gargaxton Collective now, they have pathetic fleet power compared to us, and they just now have equivalent technology. For a long time, we were better than them. Union of Zatoria. Everything is equivalent. Who's super... Here we go. Gnosia. They have equivalent tech level to us, despite being much, much larger than we are. 45 planets, 363 pops, versus us, and we have... Let me look at the contact screen. We have... 2 planets now and 15 pops, and at one point we had 7, and I think, what, like 50 pops? So we're several orders of magnitude smaller than they are, and yet we were competitive in tech up until the very end. So I love that you can play small empires. That's usually what I prefer to play. In Civilization 2, I would build like empires with like 3 cities and then just stop building cities. I can't do that in Civ 6 now. That's a game I might put on the channel at some point, some Civ 6. But, anywho, that's one of the things I think that went really well for us. I think that building robots and having them colonize up until the point where we had the slavery issue was really smart. And I think Bacata was extremely productive because it was mostly robots. I think global food is a great addition to the game, too. Really tremendous, and it really helps you. It helps you from getting a shortfall from one world to another world. It didn't show up much in our playthrough since we had so many robots. Robots don't eat food. But that was really good too. What else do I think went really well? I think using our influence intelligently really helped the playstyle develop, and that's another advantage of the smaller empires, I think. Where we could build frontier outposts and it didn't hurt us at all. I mean, I was pretty much had max influence about 30% of the game, it seemed like. Maybe even 50%. What else? Economic warfare worked really, really well when we fought the Gargaxton Collective for the first time. I thought that strategy worked really well against a bigger opponent. We raid their worlds, take out their spaceports, force them to come to us. One thing I don't like, and maybe this will be rebalanced in a later patch, maybe even Adams. I haven't read every single sentence of the patch notes yet. It is on the Paradox forums, by the way, for anyone who wants to see it. Is I'm not so sure that military stations have enough staying power. I didn't feel, in my opinion, that they were an effective defensive strategy. Because everyone we fought just tore through them like they weren't even a thing. I could see defensive outposts working in conjunction with fleets. Like, delay long enough to get the fleet to jump in. But when we had just regular warp for so long, that wasn't good enough since warp is so slow. So, I'd maybe like to see that rebalanced a little bit. I like to see it possible to hold off, you know, not a gigantic fleet by any means. Fixed fortifications shouldn't have much value in space. But when I was fighting the hyperlane power, which I think was either Zulakako or Zathoria, I didn't feel that military outpost gave us enough of an advantage. I didn't think it gave us enough advantage. I hate it when people say I feel. I'm sorry. That drives me nuts. So, I don't know if I would do that again. I don't know if I would even bother building military outposts unless everyone was hyperlane. And even then, I think it would be questionable. I can see they have minor value, but only in conjunction with fleets, not by themselves. Which is maybe intended. Maybe that's working as designed. I don't know. I do not know. Let's see. Any other final thoughts I have? I decided what we would do is go ahead and just go in observe mode for a bit. And we're just going to let the world happen and just kind of watch and see what happens. And see how things work out. Everything is now neutral to us. Someone in the Paradox comments mentioned they thought the Commonwealth of Ganogia could maybe give the Unbidden a run for their money, and maybe they could. But I mean, they're rolling up the Gargaxton super quick, and they're just so big and so strong that, I mean, Krikkit was going to be formally wiped out anyway. I don't think that's much of a debate. But this was a surprisingly peaceful galaxy overall, too. I was really surprised by that. Not hugely surprised. Can I see the message log? Maybe not. Maybe there is no message log. I thought there was one in Stellaris. Maybe not. But the lack of diplomacy meant that we had very few wars, actually. Like, almost none. Which I thought was really weird. And probably because everyone just mobilized against me. But that was so weird. Up the Gargaxons are getting pounded again. Yep, here's Unbidden space expanding. Oh, now they're hitting Zulakako. Oh yeah, the Unbidden are messing people up hardcore. But yeah, it was such a peaceful galaxy. There were so few wars. Which meant that even as I didn't have the opportunity to kind of, you know, take advantage of a situation that I otherwise might have. So, any other thoughts on this game and how it went? Technology went really well for us. Again, I don't think I'll do another missile playthrough right away. At least not missiles only. I do think, and maybe this is just purely guesswork on my part, I think that Utopia does a better job of balancing missiles where they are a viable weapon. I think they are viable at this stage. I just don't think they're there yet. I don't think they're there quite yet as a viable alternative to mass drivers. So maybe in the next game we'll do the boring thing and pick up mass drivers. I don't know. But so that's been it for this series. I just wanted to share my thoughts. What went well, what didn't go well, what I'm going to try for next time. So for civics-wise, I'm thinking of a couple options. First of all, I'm thinking of playing a pacifist race of the polar opposite of the one we have now, where we only declare defensive wars. And I want to try to build a federation, which I've done in some single-player solo games, and see if we can maybe conquer the world through diplomacy. See if that's a viable option. Oh, there goes Zulakako again. It's a bad time for them. It's a real bad time for them. Oh, that's my fleet. Okay. They seem strangely okay. Oh, no, they wiped out. Yep, they wiped out my colony there. Where are they anyway? There they are. Oh yeah. You guys are dead. You just don't know it yet. So what was I going to say next? Right, so that's one possibility. The other possibility is a more balanced approach. A xenophile race, but not one that's a pacifist. If you can do xenophile and militarist, I think that'd be an interesting combination. Maybe we'll try that for next time. But I definitely want diplomacy back in the game. I think it makes the game just the tiniest bit less strategic in the broad sense of I ally with this power to help me fight that power if you don't have diplomacy as an option. I think it's more fun that way. And I think, to its credit, Stellaris does actually a pretty good job of offering multiple ways to interact with other empires. And I hope it gets even better as they add more things in there, as they add more content to the game. But, so yeah, that is it for Stellaris. Please let me, feel free to make comments either here or on the Paradox Forum, see what you think you might like to see me play in the future as far as Stellaris goes. As far as other games in the schedule, as soon as the Hearts of Iron 4 patch comes out, I will be playing, and not just the patch, but the DLC comes out, I will be playing a game with that as Hungary. So you can look forward to that. Beyond that, I might actually start slacking back on the pace a little bit. I don't know if I'll add an immediate replacement for March of the Eagles when we finish it. Which shouldn't be more than, I think, another 2 or 3 episodes. And that's just because of the shortness of the game. There's a maximum amount you can play that before the game is over. And I think we're quite close to that. I don't know, I've got other ideas in mind. I kind of really like the idea of doing a retro Command & Conquer Red Alert campaign. That could be a lot of fun. I don't know for sure that I'll be doing that or not, but it's something I'm thinking about. Skyrim will keep going. EU4 will keep going. OOTP 18 will keep going. Those 3 series I expect to last for quite a while longer yet. But beyond that, we shall see, my friends. We shall see. In any case, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. If you're viewing this on the Paradox Forums, take a moment to drop by YouTube and leave a comment too. It'll help us get noticed more, or me get noticed more. I swear I don't have schizophrenia, I promise. I'm the only one here. Except for the posters on my wall. I have a Caboose poster from Red vs. Blue. But please make sure you comment on YouTube as well as the forums. It just helps with the algorithm. More people will see the video. The more people will see the video, the more comments I get, and the better I can make sure the channel is something that everyone enjoys. But apart from that, comment, like, subscribe. Let me know how you think the series went. Let me know if you might have done something differently. And until next time, this has been Avindian, wishing you good day, good fortune, and good luck. And don't run into the unbidden. They're bad, bad news.